think the reason why these things hit us so suddenly is because we don't live life expecting death.
And I think loss usually comes when we're not prepared for it.
On the flip side was, well, I've got nothing to lose now. I may as well go out there and make my dad proud. Work on those birthday messages, people. Kaylee's got high expectations, just putting it out there. You should try being married to her.
But even in our, our
Just try being married to her, okay, guys? High expectations over here.
That's right. I mean, grief is a gift in that way. It's like it can change us, but change us for the good.
Yeah, if we let it, and if we're open to it, and if we allow it.
100%. I think I knew, quite early on that God would use my story to help with it. I mean, look what we're doing now.
Yeah, I think the other thing about grief for me that it's really changed is it created more empathy in me.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Good Grief. We're so glad you're here, aren't we?
Yes, absolutely.
Don't put words in your mouth, but I know we both are. I can't believe it's almost December. It's probably December when this comes out. It's just crazy. Today, we're going to be talking through how grief changes you. We had someone, write in the group that they realized now it doesn't just change you. It's like a whole new lifestyle.
Yeah, you become a new person almost.
Yeah.
Well, not almost, you definitely do. Yeah, it's like before grief and after grief, we often talk about.
Different versions of you.
Yeah, it's almost like remembering moments. The way we talk about moments is like, was it before Dad's death or after Dad's death, you know?
Totally.
But it's also like that with ourselves and our character and personality and values. So I'm excited to dive into this one.
Yeah. So newsflash, if you haven't had these thoughts before, don't expect that you're going to be the same person.
Yeah.
Because you're not.
I think that's wise. Wise words. Yeah, it's and it comes as a shock. So depending if somebody's preparing for a loss at the moment or you're in the midst of early days of grief, it might come quite as a shock to be thinking differently, obviously feeling very differently, acting differently, speaking differently, listening, caring, all of those things.
Priorities change,
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
When you said priorities changed,
Yeah.
that was a big one for me.
Yeah.
So Dad died in 2012 and I can remember early in the first few months, I'd even say in the first month or so, weeks, it's we had family trying to support us as best they could, bless them. And I could just remember one particular morning going out to a cafe. They were like, let's all just go out, get some breakfast, get out of the house, get out of, this environment, because changing your environment, as we know, helps. So we went down by the beach here, down in Kirra on the Gold Coast. And I had to leave breakfast because I just couldn't put up with the conversation.
Small talk?
Yeah, the small talk. I couldn't put up with any of that. So I got up and took a walk. So I'm walking along the beach and I remember feeling like I was Neo in the Matrix.
Oh.
And what I mean by that is looking around at everybody, I felt like they were all part of the Matrix and they had no idea what I understood and what I knew about life and about death and about what I was feeling and experiencing. So I felt like they were all just passing by with no idea. And here I was with this deep understanding of loss and hurt and pain and grief. And they were just passing on by as if everything was okay. And it was quite interesting because in one sense, it almost empowered me because I didn't care anymore about the little things that usually take up so much of our brain space, of our heart, etc. I just didn't care. So my priorities changed completely. I'm like, why do we go to work? Why do we strive to achieve these things? Why should we care about, anything really?
I had this same thought. It was probably...
Did you feel like Neo?
No, I didn't. I didn't feel like Trinity either. But
that would have been cool. Maybe you can channel your Trinity
we were
now.
meant to be. No, but I remember thinking like, what's all the striving for?
What's the point?
What's the point? Why do we strive for these big careers and big houses and all the things
keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah, when that really doesn't matter.
The only thing that matters are the people in our world, the relationships that we have, the love that we get to share.
And what God's put us on the earth for.
Totally.
That was my thought. Like, why the heck should I be striving for some big career thing? Like, I was, 24, 25 at the time, and I was just thinking, why? What am I doing? Like, I was just having those thoughts for sure.
And I think the reason why these things hit us so suddenly is because we don't live life expecting death. We don't live life thinking about one day we will die.
Yeah.
So we live
We're not
life.
like working our way backwards. Like, I think I'm going to die around then. So I want to get, do all this and live each day like this. Yeah, we're not really thinking like that, are we?
Totally.
And I think loss usually comes when we're not prepared for it.
Always.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, no one
Even
is
if
usually preparing to lose someone
Yeah.
unless it's anticipatory. But like, even
But
still,
even then, you weren't expecting mum to die
yeah,
when she died.
not really. I was still trying to hope for the best.
That's
and
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like like two sides of the coin, or like if we're keeping with the Matrix here, the red and the
Let's
blue
do it.
pill. Red and the blue pill. One was that I didn't care about anything, and I thought, why even bother? And the blue pill was a sense of huge empowerment as well, because on the flip side was, well, I've got nothing to lose now. I may as well go out there and make my dad proud.
Sure.
So it was almost like, well, I've got nothing to lose. Well, why don't I just go and, achieve things, tick things off, serve people, help people. So it was like the red and the blue pill, or two sides of a coin. On one hand, didn't care. On the other, I cared deeply because I wanted to make him proud.
Well, it's more that I think that we didn't care about the little things. Not to say that they haven't like crept back in our life, but at the time we were thinking, well, those little things don't matter. Let's just go make an impact with this life. And
I'd even say the big things. I'm like I didn't care anymore about, saving to buy a home or whatever. I didn't care if I lived in a shed.
okay,
Like I really didn't care. That was the red pill.
shed life.
Yeah, shed life. So yeah, interesting.
Yeah. I think on another flip side of that, my mum was super into the details, and I'm a detail person as well. And she was always so thoughtful and so caring, and just loved celebration, loved people, and so she was just always in the intricate details of celebrating someone. And I think from that, I've wanted to carry on that. Like, I love birthdays and Christmas
And you're great at
Easter and any sort of celebration. Yeah, I love to put my energy into that, and even down to just writing someone a happy birthday message, whether it's on Facebook or sending them a text or writing in a card. I like to make it more meaningful than just, hey, happy birthday, hope you have a great year, da da da. I just feel like it's so important to just try and make their day with like just one extra line. Everyone else is writing happy birthday. It's what you expect. But when you get that little extra something, like,
Yeah, they put some time in and some thought.
yeah, it doesn't take that much energy, but like that
It's
person
that-
will remember that comment or that thing for that year. Like,
It's
remember,
that old cliche that it's the thought that counts.
yeah, like remember Jethro wrote me a beautiful happy birthday message this year, and we were just like, oh wow, it was so thoughtful and so special, and it's like, we'll remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else who said just a happy birthday, I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
sorry, you've forgotten.
Work on those birthday messages, people. Kaylee's got high expectations, just putting it out there. You should try being married to her.
But even in our our
Just try being married to her, okay, guys? High expectations over here.
well, no one else can be married to me, so
I'm
they don't have to
sorry-
worry about it.
I'm sorry for the birthday card that had 7 lines on it. I should have went for 9. I should have put more kisses and hugs on the bottom
What
of it.
I'm saying is,
Now she's hitting me. For those who aren't watching the podcast, what you're saying is, grief changed you
Yeah.
because the way that your mum did things was
Yeah.
something that you wanted to adopt. It meant more to you.
Yeah. To make things more meaningful, not just a frivolous happy birthday or a frivolous I love you.
And like, were you aware of that while mum was still alive? And were you
I knew she was good at it, and I was
right?
like,
But it didn't take on the same meaning as after she'd passed.
yeah.
See, I think that's the interesting thing. I wonder.
Because now I treasure all those things that.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I wonder if she had have lived a long life into her 120s,
Should
right?
be almost 60.
Yeah. Let's just say she lived a long, healthy life. Would you have picked up on those things and incorporated them as much as you have now? I would say, personally, for me, I wouldn't have, because it's only something that we take it for granted. We just do. We don't do that by choice or because we're bad people. Everyone listening along that's lost somebody didn't just take their human for granted, the person that they loved. But it's only after death that we start to reconcile all of the things that we loved about them.
That's right. I mean, grief is a gift in that way.
I 100% agree. It is. It's the hardest gift to receive, but it's a gift nonetheless.
It's a blessing in disguise. Like, it can change us, but change us for the good.
Yeah, if we let it, and if we're
Yes.
open to it, and if we allow it.
100%. Sometimes we're not always in the headspace to let it do that.
Yeah, and there's a time, and the timing is different for everybody as well.
Yes.
And so it might not
Absolutely.
be the day after,
Yeah.
but it might be as well.
Yeah. I remember going back to work like 5 days later maybe, and people were like, why are you here? And I just remember being like, well, I got to get on with it and, love my mum, and I'm grieving her, but she'd want me to get on with it and to live my life, and this doesn't stop my process of grieving.
Yeah.
I still think about it like every second, but here I am.
Here you are.
I'm moving on.
Totally.
Not moving on. I'm moving forward. I'm getting on with it.
Yeah. Yeah. It made me think of Good Will Hunting and Robin Williams and Matt Damon in that movie. And there's this scene where Robin Williams is the therapist to Matt Damon, and Matt's quite closed off and so forth. And so Robin Williams just opens up about his wife farting in her sleep, and
Glad that was his wife.
yeah, and he was there to hear it, and she wakes up and the dog had woken as well, and she says, "Oh, was that the dog?" And he said yes, even though he knew it was her, and he couldn't bring himself to tell her it was her. So they're having this laugh, and then he drops it on Matt Damon that he's like, that was one of the things I loved about my wife. She's been dead 2 years now, and it's this moment of like, whoa, they were just having this laugh as if she was still here, but she's passed. And then he goes on to share this lesson, kind of like what we're talking about here. He's like, it was the small things, the little idiosyncrasies about her that I miss the most. And some of those things we just miss, and we, maybe we can't take them on board on our character or our personality or how we live, but then there's plenty of them that we can as well. And so that's where I think the empowering side of losing somebody can really change us and help us heal as well. Yeah, I knew as soon as Dad died, as much as it was the worst day I've ever faced in my life, I knew that there was meaning and purpose to come out of it. And so I've shared this on previous episodes, but I was in a band, we were playing, metal music with a good message.
Yes.
And I just immediately knew that I had to tell this story and help other kids, other people that were fans of ours through this process. And that was 11 years ago. But I knew that pretty quickly. That's not going to be the case for everybody. But I think if you think about it, like, what if the loss of your loved one could provide hope for somebody else? Like just one
totally.
person. It would change their world.
Yeah. Would that be worth it?
Would that be worth it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you be open to that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you allow that to come in and begin to meditate on that thought? Doesn't have to be now. It might be soon or it might be later.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I knew, quite early on that God would use my story to help other people. I mean, look what we're doing now.
Yeah, I know.
Hello.
And I was going to say it has for multiple people already in the last decade.
Yeah, I've been able to help friends and all sorts.
This is just the culmination of where it's come to.
Yeah.
Because we each found somebody that's lost somebody.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Any other thoughts as to how grief's changed you?
I think...
Yeah, go.
Yeah. I think also on the kind of communication thing, I think it's also made me... I mean, I'm generally a pretty direct person, but I think it heightened the fact that I just don't like to just sweep things under the rug. Like, I'd rather just get it all out on the table, have a chat, have it out, and
Why is that?
And move on. Just because you just never know when... it's no good harboring and holding on to things. It's no good for me. And I just like having a more honest relationship with someone, more open out there, and just not have anything in between us. I don't like stuff building up. It's like that. It's like a small cotton ball and then turns into an elephant like a couple of years down the track if you don't deal with it.
Yeah.
So I just don't want any of that with relationships.
And it's not because you fear that they could suddenly die.
No.
But it's also nice to know that...
But what if they did?
Yeah. Like, I'm just thinking about our friend just 3 weeks ago. One of his best friends had a heart attack, you know, and thankfully they were on great terms and great friends, but it can be really hard, and so I think you're right, it's worth having those conversations and getting on good terms with each other.
Right? Like, we just never know.
You just never know what's around the corner.
How our days are numbered.
Yeah,
totally. You just don't. Like, none of us can foresee that. So why not love harder, love better? Yeah.
Yeah, I think the other thing about grief for me that it's really changed is it created more empathy in me. I really didn't understand the loss that other people were going through until I experienced it myself with Dad. And I'd lost tons of people before, like grandparents, aunties, friends, neighbors, you name it, but never someone so close as my dad. And so although I'd been to all those funerals, I'd spoken at those things, I'd walked that journey, it still didn't hit home. And so until Dad died, I hadn't felt that type of empathy for others going through something similar. And so that's why I believe grief has made me better.
Yeah, 100%. This has been good.
Yeah, some big thoughts, maybe some challenging thoughts as well.
Yeah. Not everyone's in, the same place as us or the same journey as us or...
Totally.
Yeah.
And so...
But this is just our experience and what we've been through.
Yeah, and hopefully it's been helpful for you listening along. And remember that we're 11 years, or I am, you're coming up to 11 next year.
Yes.
Well, I'll call it, we're 11 years along in this process. And it's a continual changing, a continual evolving. But I found that if I allow it and if I'm open to it to change me for the better, it's done some amazing work.
Oh, yeah.
And I've said it before, God's done some huge surgery on my heart in these 11 years where we can experience sadness and joy at the same time. We were talking about it. We can be laughing and crying at the same time. You can be angry and grateful. You can have all of these mixed feelings, but if we allow it to open us up, there is hope.
Yeah, there is.
There is hope down the tunnel. And I'm excited for you to step into that as you journey along with us. And hopefully some of these thoughts, some stories and questions have been, thought-provoking and also helpful and soothing.
Yeah, totally. I mean, maybe you're like, yes, that's me. Yes, that's me. Me too. I hope some of you are.
Yeah, we'd love to know if this episode's been helpful. Share it on social media with
please share.
your audience and tag us. We will reshare it on our stories, and we'd love to know that you are getting something out of it.
Mm-hmm. And if you're in our Facebook group, tell others in the group that this was a good one and why and what you liked about it. And we can't do it without you guys, so we need your support to spread the word and share.
Thanks for hanging out with me.
Yeah. Thanks, husband.
My bride. And we look forward to catching you on the next episode of Good Grief.
Yes.
Until then, big love from us.
Thanks for tuning in.
Bye for now.
Bye.